for your lunch?
Yes, sir.
Feeling sleepy?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
What about you, sir?
Yeah, I finished my lunch. Not feeling sleepy. Okay. Sir, right. So we were discussing about the uncertainty principle in the last class. Okay, yeah, fine. So hope you understand. Do you have any doubt in this part, slide? See, uncertainty principle basically says the uncertainty in the position of a particle times the uncertainty in the momentum of a particle is always greater than or equal to h cross by 2. That is the least multiple would be h cross by 2. It cannot be less than h cross by 2. It will always be h cross by 2 or greater than that. Okay. So this is with the case of delta x and delta p. Here what happens if we try to reduce the uncertainty in momentum, that means if we try to increase the precision in momentum as much as possible by us. If we increase the precision in momentum, then delta p would reduce. When delta p reduces, because the momentum precision is increasing, delta precision is increasing. I am talking about increase in precision, therefore delta p is less. So when delta p reduces, delta x will automatically increase. So their product will always be greater than or equal to h cross by 2. We cannot bring it less than h cross by 2. So when we work on momentum, position increases. When we work on position, momentum increases. That is, uncertainty in the momentum increases. When you work on position, if you take smaller, if you consider smaller range, smaller distance, then delta x will be less. But in that case, we will lose the precision on lambda. Using lambda, we evaluate momentum. Momentum p is equal to h by lambda. So when lambda increases, again momentum will be the precision in momentum will increase. So here in this case, it says that the uncertainty principle says that between pair of conjugate quantities, the uncertainties is always, the product of the uncertainties always it is greater than or equal to h cross by 2. So this h cross by 2, what we are talking, this delta x and delta p, what we are talking, this delta x and delta p, we are trying to measure at the same time, simultaneous measurement, right? Delta x and delta p, we are trying to measure at the same time. That means presently we are trying to measure at the present moment, we are trying to measure delta x and delta p. So when we measure the present state of the particle with respect to delta x and delta p, we end up with some uncertainty, right? If we end up with uncertainty when we are measuring the present state of the particle, it is obvious that future is always uncertain, right? Because we do not know the precise state of the present moment. When the present moment precise state itself is not known, precisely when it is not known, it is obvious that the future would also has to be uncertain. We don't have an option. So future has to be uncertain in all moving bodies, Whereas when we take the macroscopic bodies, right, such as a flight moving, or a cannonball moving, or a rocket moving, or a bus moving, or a car moving, the velocity is less. Therefore, always we can say the precision is more, or this uncertainty principle or the values of the uncertainties become very, very insignificant. It is not like it is not there. Uncertainty is still there, right? For example, flight is moving. If you put an uncertainty for its position, always the uncertainty will be in micrometers or centimeters. It doesn't matter because flight itself is about 30-40 meters. So uncertainty is insignificant in the macroscopic world. It is not. It doesn't mean it is not there. It is there. It is not significant. That is all it says. Whereas
Sir,
in microscopic
if any
world,
quantity is large, we cannot consider it as precise, sir.
no, nothing like that. It cannot be precise here in particular. Lambda, if you consider with respect to the wavelength of the moving particle and the position. Okay. However precise you measure, always there will be uncertainty. I'm not saying it is error. It is uncertainty.
Sir, means delta means if it is bigger means what problem, sir?
What I didn't get.
Sir, means you are told that if we take lambda precisely, delta x is large, no, sir?
Delta x, it increases. That is how it works. Because if you want lambda precisely, if you have to measure a precise lambda, you have to consider a larger part of the wave. See here, if you want a precise lambda here, if you want a precise lambda, because it is wave group, it is not a single wave. You want to evaluate lambda precisely, you have to consider wave in a large range. When you consider wave in a large range, that means delta x increases. The position of the particle increases. So this wave indicates or represents the position of the particle. So position of the particle, you are taking it from this range to this range, from here to here. So delta x automatically increases when you reduce lambda. So the meaning is that if you try to reduce delta p, delta x increases, right? If you try to reduce delta x, delta p increases. That is the meaning.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and this is inherent characteristics. This is not because of our measurement. Okay, so uncertainty principle suggests that we cannot know the future because we cannot know the present. Because we have so much of uncertainty in the present itself. So it is obvious we cannot know the future, precise future of a particle, of a system, right? So these are the conjugate pairs of quantities which follow uncertainty principle. Position, momentum, okay, angular position, angular momentum, and energy and time, right? So these are the conjugate pairs which follow uncertainty principle. Now let's look at some examples. This is the example. Read it. A measurement establishes the position of a
Sir,
proton
once if you show the previous slide, we can note down, sir.
Yes, note down.
Sir, means they are examples, sir.
Which one?
Conjugate pairs.
Not examples. That is how they exist. Yes, it is an example of the quantities, pair of quantities which obey uncertainty principle.
Sir, does energy time also obey, sir?
Yes, delta E dot delta T is always greater than H cross by T.
Yes, sir. Done, sir.
This is valid for all. This greater than H cross by 2 valid for all the three pairs. Okay. So now next. Note down this problem. A measurement establishes the position of a proton with an accuracy of plus or minus 1 into 10 to the power of minus 11 meters. Find the uncertainty in the proton's position 1 second later. Assume V is very, very less than C. Okay. So now, what is given? What is given? Come
Delta
on.
x is equals to 1 into 10 to the power of minus 11 meters.
Yes. What is given is delta A. Let's consider it as delta x naught. This is equal to 1 into 10 to the power of minus 11. Now, what is the equation we have? Uncertainty equation. Delta x
into delta t.
Very good. Delta P greater than or equal to H by 4 pi.
4 pi.
Very good. Right?
Yes, sir.
Now, this gives the, delta x naught. Write down delta x naught here. Straight away we'll go to that. So delta P is equal to, delta P is greater than or equal to H by 4 pi into, delta x. Okay. Okay. So now,
Sir, why don't we take delta x only, sir?
no. Delta x we will take the position as after 1 second. They want uncertainty in proton's position after 1 second, no?
Means
Okay.
it is before 1 second. I mean, we have to consider two conditions, sir.
T equal to 0. No. You can, yeah. You have to find the uncertainty at the present moment and uncertainty after 1 second. Present moment they have, okay. After 1 second, what is the uncertainty? That we have to find out.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now, this one, what is this? Delta x naught, delta p greater than or equal to, okay.
0.527 into 10 power minus 13.
Okay, let's see. P is equal to m into v. Right? Now, delta p is equal to?
M into
Delta p is
delta v.
equal to?
M into delta
M
v.
delta V.
M into delta v, because m we consider constant. If, remember here, if only v is very less than c, we can put this. Otherwise, m is also variable. Remember that. Only when the velocity is very less than c, we can say delta p is equal to m into, that means m is constant. Otherwise, m is not constant. It is also variable. Okay. So this gives delta v is equal to delta p by m. Delta p by m. What is delta p? Do we have it anywhere?
No, sir.
Yes. We have it before, right? Delta p from here. Okay. Do we have it?
Yes, sir.
Yes. It is h by 4 pi m into delta x naught. Okay. This is delta v. Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the distance covered by proton in 1 second is the distance covered by, write down, the distance covered by proton in 1 second is delta x is equal to sorry, no, it is not the distance covered. The precise location of the proton after a time t. After a time t, the precise location of the proton after a time t cannot be more accurate than, we are not talking about how much it covered, we are just talking about how accurate it can be. Delta x is the location of the proton after 1 second cannot be more accurate than t is equal to, delta x is equal to t into delta v. T into delta v, which is greater than or equal to h into t divided by 4 pi m into delta x naught. Okay. Now give me the answer.
Sir, how did the greater than or equal to came, but here there is an equal to, no? So delta x is equal to t into delta v.
Delta x is equal to t into delta v. That's correct. But it can be equal or it has to be always more than equal. That is, we are expressing delta x, right? And here we have delta v. But the next moment, what we have? We have the momentum component over here. What we derived out of momentum, h by 4 pi m into delta x naught, that has come into picture here, right? As soon as the momentum comes into picture here, it has to be greater than or equal to. Okay. Now, can you evaluate this? What is the h value?
6.6
H value.
into 10 power
6.626
10 to the power of minus
into 10 power minus 34.
34. Very good. What is t?
1.
1.
1. 4
One
into
second.
pi. Yeah. What is m?
1.67 into 10 to the power minus 27.
Yes, it is proton. Then what is delta x naught?
1 into 10 to the power minus 11.
Very good. That's it. Find out and let me know quickly. Answer.
So 3.14 into 10 to the power minus 5.
3.14.
Yes, sir. 3.14 into 10 to the power minus 5.
15 into 10 to the power of minus 5.
Yes, sir.
Check again, all of you.
Sir, that is 3.14.
14. Okay, fine. Can we check the 10 powers once again? See here. H is 10 to the power of minus 34, right?
Sir,
M is 10 to the power of minus
That's not
27,
minus
is
5.
10 to the power of minus 11. So it has to be positive value. This is a negative value. It cannot be negative value. Check again.
Sir, it's 0.314 into 10 to the power 4. Sir.
10 to the power of
Sir, it's a positive value, sir, actually. So 0.314 into 10 to the power 4 will get, sir.
4.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Is this 4?
3.14 into 10 to the power
sir,
3.
3284.23, sir.
3 to
2.97 into 10 power 2,
4.23.
sir.
this is actually okay.
Sir,
32.97 into 10
3284.23.
power 2,
10
sir.
to the power of 3 meters. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now look here. All of you write down this answer. We will discuss this. This is very important. So, sorry. Okay. Position, uncertainty in position is 1 into 10 to the power of minus 11. Here 1 into 10 to the power of 3. This is what do we got here? This is delta x at 0, delta x at 1 second. Okay, and also look at this equation. See what we got here. We got a t equal to 1 sec, t equal to 0 seconds. That is when we start. We got the position to be 1 into 10 to the power of minus 11. It is a very precise position for a proton, right? 10 to the power of minus 11 is a very precise position. So delta x is very precise at 0 second. The next moment after 1 second, when we evaluate delta x, we are getting 1 into 10 to the power of 3 meters. That means 1 kilometer. The first point, proton may exist anywhere in 1 into 10 to the power of minus 11 meters. So if this is, let's say it is moving along x-axis. If this is along x-axis, okay, we mark these 2 points, which is 2 into 10 to the power of minus 11 meters apart. That is delta x is plus or minus 1, right? So this is the distance, delta x. This is the distance, small distance delta x, within which the proton exists. This is at 0 second. The next moment, that is after 1 second, we see proton can exist anywhere between 1 kilometer. Sorry, not 1 kilometer. It is 3 kilometers. Anywhere between 3 kilometers. This is 3 kilometers. Right? The next moment we are losing very much on the position of the proton. That means if we increase the precision on the position at present, if we increase the precision on position at present, we are going to lose. If we increase the precision on position at the present, we are going to lose its position on the next moment. Right? Do you understand this? If you try to increase the precision at the moment, at the present moment, the next moment, that is the future, is going to be more and more uncertain. If the present is more uncertain, future is going to be certain or less uncertain. So this is the meaning. See here, delta x and delta x naught are inversely related. Right? Reduce delta x naught, delta x increases. Reduce the precision increase the precision. Increase precision means reduction in delta x value. So as delta x naught value reduces, delta x value increases. This is the measurement of position in the present state. As we precise it, as we make it precise, more and more precise, we will lose its precision in the next moment, that is future, right? So if the uncertainty in the present moment increases, the uncertainty in the future reduces. If the uncertainty in the present momentum is very less, uncertainty in the future is going to be far more. So that is the meaning. Say at 0 seconds, we have 10 to the power of minus 11 meters. We can find proton within 10 to the power of minus 11 meters. The next moment, in 1 second, next 1 second, proton may be anywhere in 3 kilometers. What is the size of the proton? What is the uncertainty? Size of the proton is 10 to the power of minus 16 meters, whereas it could be found anywhere in 3 kilometers. That is something bizarre, right? So this is the significance of uncertainty principle. You understand this? If you press on the present momentum, we are going to lose its future state. That means when we are stressing on the present momentum with respect to its delta x, that is the position, we are already losing the precision on its momentum, which is going to influence its position in the next moment, next second. So because delta p is more here, the next moment it is losing position. Its uncertainty in position increases. At that momentum, of course, at that second, of course, we get better value for momentum. The next second, momentum value reduces. So here, at 1 second, where its position is 3 kilometers, its momentum would be very, 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 very precise. So, right. So if you try to press on precision on the location of the particle at the moment, next moment you are going to lose it. Right? Do you understand this? Any doubt? Let me know.
Sir, means the position will be in 3 kilometers or its size will become 3 kilometers?
No. Size cannot change. Size is 10 to the power of minus 16 meter only. But it could be found anywhere in this 10 to the power of 3 kilometers. It could be found anywhere in this 3 kilometers. See, think of finding an a proton in 3 kilometers. Something which is impossible, right? Proton is so small, 10 to the power of minus 16 meter size, and it could be found with anywhere within this 3 kilometers. That is the uncertainty it has. This uncertainty has happened because its previous position, that is at 0 second, its position was measured very precisely. So next moment we are losing on it.
Sir, if we take more time, then it will be precise, sir.
So the next moment it will again change. It all depends on what you are trying to see here. Proton is there, it is moving, right?
Yes, sir.
All these characteristics comes into picture only when we try to interfere or only when we try to measure its characteristics. If we do not measure, it keeps moving on its own. When we try to measure, we see such characteristics.
Okay.
Otherwise not. Whenever we interfere, then only we see its wave nature. Otherwise not. Whenever V means anything that interferes, we see the wave nature. Otherwise not. So here, in this moment, we are trying to measure its location precisely. Next moment, we are losing its location to 3 kilometers.
That has a point.
Yes. We'll go to next problem. Note down. Did you note down this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next one.
Yes.
A typical atomic nucleus is about 5 into 10 to the power of minus 15 meter in radius, right? A typical atomic nucleus is about 5 into 10 to the power of minus 15 meter in radius. Use the uncertainty principle to place a lower limit on the energy of an electron must have if it is to be part of a nucleus. Does the electron exist inside the nucleus?
Sir, what is the value, sir? 5 into 10 power?
Minus 15. Do electrons exist inside the nucleus?
They will be revolving on.
No, sir. Only
Yes, sir,
protons.
but inside the neutron they will be combined.
No.
Sir.
No, sir. Only protons and neutrons.
What I am
will be
asking
there.
is, do the electrons exist as free particles or as whole particles inside the nucleus? Just as
No,
they
sir.
are
No,
out.
sir.
No,
sir.
sir.
Electrons cannot exist inside the nucleus. Okay. Okay. Now, how to go about this? What is given? What is given is delta X. If let's consider electron exists inside the nucleus. If it exists, it can move within that radius, right? 5 into 10 to the power of minus 15 meters. Sorry. That is considered as its uncertainty. It can be anywhere. Electron could be found anywhere within this region. That is 5 into 10 to the power of minus 15. We don't know where it exactly exists. We say it could be found anywhere in this region. Okay. Now delta P is greater than or equal to H cross by 2 into delta X, which is greater than or equal to, give me the answer. I didn't get, I couldn't hear.
$6.626 into 10 power minus 20, sir.
No. Check again. 10 power is
1.05 into 10 power minus 20.
yes. It comes out to be 1.1 into 10 power
1.05 into 10 power minus 22.
minus 20. kg meter per second. Okay. Okay. Now we have the equation for energy of a particle. Total energy of a particle. Write down. Total energy of a particle is given by E square is equal to m naught c square whole square plus p square c square. Okay. This is a relativistic relation. You just
What is
note
this,
down.
sir?
This is a relativistic relation for a particle which is moving with a great velocity. This is what its momentum looks like. Sorry, it's total energy. This is the rest energy. Rest energy, this is the energy due to the movement. That is the kinetic energy. But here, kinetic energy will be so high that the rest energy can be neglected. Okay. So the particle's energy E is equal to P into C. Particle's energy E is equal to P into C.
Sir, from where did this formula came, sir? This whole
This
formula?
is a relativistic formula. We do not discuss this actually. Einstein's theory of relativity.
Sir, but that is equal to mc square, no, sir?
Yes, you are right. You are right.
Okay, sir. MC
That
is
is
P
for a
and
stationary
C.
one.
No. That is actually E equal to mc square. That has this one. What is this? Kinetic
Yes, sir.
energy.
Momentum.
Here it's
MV
small.
is momentum.
No, yeah. So there we do not consider moving particles. When you say E equal to mc square, we consider it for stationary particles. That E equal to mc square says that even the stationary particles or stationary bodies have energy. That is the rest mass energy. Here, if that body is moving, this E equal to mc square is also there. Then kinetic energy P square C square is also there. But here, body is moving so fast that the rest energy of the body is insignificant. You can neglect it. And therefore, the total energy of the body is equal to E square is equal to P square C square, or E equal to P into C.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So E is equal to P into C, which is also we can call as only kinetic energy. You don't have to worry about it.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, this equation, like you have cancelled m naught c square whole square, no, sir? That is
I'm not cancelled. I'm saying this is insignificant.
why, sir? Because only
Neglect.
because it's moving with high velocity. That's why, sir.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, kinetic energy formula is different, no, sir? Half mv square.
No, it keeps changing. Don't worry. Kinetic energy P is also equal to P square by 2m, right?
Yes, sir.
Then it keeps changing. That's how. Here we get it as P into C.
Okay, sir.
Okay. This is insignificant, this one. Okay. So E is equal to PC. Then we have kinetic energy is equal to P into C. This is equal to, this should be greater than or equal to, what is P? 1.1 into delta P itself, 1.1 into 10 to the power of minus 20 into C is 3 into 10 to the power of
8.
8. What do you get? You get
3.3 into 10 power minus 12.
3.3 into 10 power minus 12. What is the unit? Joules.
Joule.
Convert this to electron volt quickly and
Yes.
tell me the answer.
Divided by 1.6 into 10 power minus.
Very good. What is the answer?
Two into 10 power 4.
2 into
10 power 4.
2.06 into 10 power 7.
2.0625 into 10 power 7.
very good. So I'll call it as 20 mega electron volt. That does that work? 20 into 10 to the power of 6 electron volt. That
Yes,
10
sir.
to the power of 6 I'll call as m mega and then electron volt. Is it fine? Hey guys. Instead of 10 to the power of 6, I have put as mega m.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So 20 MeV. What is the known energy of the electrons which are emitted from the nucleus?
13 points.
No, that is not from the nucleus, not from the atom. I'm talking about nucleus do emit electrons. That is beta decay. Haven't you studied about beta decay? Beta decay? Don't know.
Yes, sir, in radioactivity.
Yes, in beta decay of the nucleus, we get electrons of about 3 to 4 MeV. We get electrons of about 3 to 4 MeV. But these electrons, if an electron exists inside the nucleus, it must have an energy of 20 MeV. But what we are getting the electrons out of the nucleus is only 3 to 4 MeV. What does that mean? What does that mean?
Emission of energy, sir. Takes
No,
place.
electrons do not exist inside the nucleus as free particles. Right? Note down. No, note down. In beta decay, we observe.
Sir, you divided the joules with 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 only, no, sir?
Yes.
Oh, okay, sir.
Okay. Write down.
Mega means 10 power 10 or 9, sir?
6.
Sir, in beta decay?
In beta decay of the nucleus, we observe the emitted electrons to have energies in the range 3 to 4 MeV.
Observe emitted electrons, sir.
Sorry?
We observe emitted electrons, sir.
Electrons emitted with energy, or emitted electrons have energy. Emitted electrons have energy 3 to 4 MeV. 3 to 4 MeV.
Sir, how did beta decay came here, sir?
That means, see, what is the question? Look at the question. What is the question? The question is about lower limit on the energy of an electron must have if it is to be part of a nucleus. I'll put this question in a different way. Can electrons exist inside the nucleus? Verify. Okay. Can electrons exist inside the nucleus? Verify. We know that nucleus, the electrons comes out of the nucleus. That we know. We have experimentally observed electrons coming out of the nucleus. Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
electrons coming out of the nucleus, that fact nobody can deny. But the thing is, do the electrons exist inside the nucleus? That we don't know. Right?
Yes, sir.
We know they are coming. How? Because when a proton converts to an neutron, or a neutron converts to proton, we see electrons coming out. That we call as beta decay. Electrons and positrons. Okay. That we call as beta decay. But what I am saying is, can electron exist inside the nucleus? Just like a proton and a neutron, electron is also there as independent particle. That is the question. Suppose if there is an electron as independent particle within the nucleus, and what is the energy it can have? That energy is 20 MeV. If an electron exists inside the nucleus, it will have 20 MeV of energy. When it comes out, how much energy it will have? Inside the nucleus, it has 20 MeV. When it comes out, the same particle which is having 20 MeV inside the nucleus, how much energy it will have when it comes out of the nucleus? Same 20 MeV. Right? Same kinetic energy, what it had inside the nucleus, the same energy. With the same energy, it would come out. Right? The same 20 MeV it will have when it comes out. But experimentally, we have observed electrons when they come out, or when they are emitted from the nucleus, they have only 3 to 4 MeV as their energy. Right? They have only 3 to 4 MeV as their energy. That means electrons cannot exist inside the nucleus as independent particle. It might be contained in the proton or neutron, but it cannot exist as independent particle. That is what.
Sir,
this
we didn't found out that that is 3 or 4 MeV will be in nucleus, no sir. This is theoretical part only, no sir.
Which one?
3 to 4 MeV.
No, no, no. It is practical aspect. This is theoretical, in fact. This is theoretical. This is practical aspect. What we find when a neutron converts to a proton, that conversion is possible, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. When a neutron converts to a proton, it will have positive charge. So to compensate that, an electron is produced and it is ejected out. So this electron ejected out, it will have energy of 3 to 4 MeV. But this electron is generated only at the time of neutron to proton conversion, and it has come out. It cannot exist there. If it has to exist there independently, then it should have 20 MeV. You understand this discrepancy?
Yes, sir. Actually, if it come out, it should have 3 to 4 MeV, but we are getting 20 MeV, so it does not exist.
No. If we are getting, when it comes out, we are getting only 3 to 4 MeV only. Okay.
Sir.
This electron is generated when a neutron is converted to proton and it is emitted out. It is only 3 to 4 MeV. But if an electron, just like one proton, one neutron, if there was also one electron inside the nucleus, right? Theoretically, if there was also one electron inside the nucleus, what would be its energy? Its energy would be 20 MeV. But we are observing electrons of only 3 to 4 MeV. 20 MeV electrons are not found in our observation. Therefore, we say free electrons are not, or independent electrons do not exist inside the nucleus. Understand or still confused?
Yes, sir. Means actually it should have it should contain 20 MeV to stay in nucleus, but we are getting only 3 to 4, so it is not possible.
It is not possible.
Yes.
So electron cannot exist as independent entities or independent particles.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir. Thank you, sir.
Let's go to next problem.
Sir, means this is the answer only, sir.
This is the answer. See, this is the answer. If an electron has to exist inside the nucleus, the minimum energy it should have is always, it is 20 MeV and more. That's all.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, means it's not about any radius, sir, like small electron or like that.
No.
In that question,
See,
5 into 10 power minus 15.
Yes. What it says is, if the electron has to be contained in such a small space, 5 into 10 to the power of minus 15 meter radius, or that small space, it has to have this much of energy. Otherwise, you cannot hold that in such a small space. Or when you hold electron in such a small space, it will have this much of energy. Okay. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
When you hold electron in such a small space, such a small region, it will have this much of energy. Okay. But the electrons which we are getting out of nucleus is much less than this. Therefore, electrons are not part of the nucleus. That is the conclusion. Okay.
Means they have asked just the energy only.
Our question does not say about this second part. Our question only says, if an electron has to exist inside the nucleus, what should be the minimum energy? So for that, we have to say it should have a minimum energy of 20 MeV or more if it has to stay inside the nucleus. That is all our answer. Okay.
Sir, also we have to assume that it is a moving particle but not a stationary one.
It is moving. It is moving. Within the nucleus, it is moving. That is why we are talking about only its kinetic energy.
I mean, they didn't mention, no, sir, it is moving. That's why I asked.
It has to move. Don't worry. If a particle is inside, it has to move. An electron, it has to move. Whether
Yes,
it is
sir.
inside the nucleus or in the outer orbitals, that is in the orbitals outside the nucleus, it has to move.
Okay, sir.
Okay. See here, we evaluated delta P, right? Right? Delta P as a value, momentum value. Okay. Where did you get this momentum from if it is not moving?
Yes, sir. Correct.
Okay. And also, when they say it is bound with within the nucleus with delta x is equal to 5 into 10 to the power of minus 15, that means it is moving. Then only we can apply this delta x. If it is stationary, that doesn't make any sense or it doesn't carry any meaning, right?
It means in that region it is moving now, sir. 5 into 10 power minus 15
Yes.
region.
Within that region, it is.
So okay, sir. Thank you.
Do I have 10 more minutes?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. 2 more problems we'll solve. Yeah, hydrogen atom is 5.3 into 10 to the power of minus 11 meter in radius. Note down this. Use the uncertainty principle to estimate the minimum energy an electron can have in this atom. Okay, so how to go about? So what is given? Delta x is given. So delta P is h cross by 2 into delta x, which is greater than or equal to 9.9 into 10 to the power of minus 25 kg meter per second. Okay.
Here also same concept only, no, sir.
Same concept.
Sir, it's the same as K is equal to PC, right?
Here you can use K is equal to P square by 2m. Because this electron behaves like a classical particle. Its velocity is not very much compared to that speed of light. So you can always go with here in this case. You will get with that also, but here straight away you can use delta P, kinetic energy equal to.
Is this wrong, sir? Delta P into C.
You check that how much you will get. Let's see. Kinetic energy is equal to P square by 2m. Okay. This is greater than or equal to 9.9 into 10 to the power of two into what is m, mass of the electron? 9.1 into 10 to the power of minus.
Sir, it's hydrogen, right?
Yes. So kinetic energy should always be greater than or equal to. Let me know the answer. Here you will get the answer as 3.4 electron volt. So it should always be greater than or equal to 3.4 electron volt. This is the kinetic energy. If an electron is moving in the lowermost orbital of the hydrogen atom, this should be the minimum energy it possesses. What is
Sir,
the actual?
directly the joules came, sir.
No. Joules is different. This is electron volt. What is the actual
Sir,
answer?
means
The actual value.
this
Actual
answer.
value is 13.6 electron volt. So what it does is it puts a lower limit. Lower limit is 3.4 electron volt. It should be greater than or equal to 3.4 electron volt. So anything more than 3.4 electron volt is acceptable, and what we see in hydrogen atom lower level is 13.6 electron volt as the kinetic energy, actual energy. This is your answer. Kinetic energy is greater than or equal to 3.4 electron volt. This is your answer.
Sir?
Yes.
Means the answer came in directly in joules, or did you convert
No,
this
it was
again?
in joules. It was in joules. Here it was in joules. Then we did divided by 1.602 into 10 to the power of minus 19. Then you got this electron volt. Okay.
Sir, I done in PC method, sir. P
How
into
much you
C.
got?
I got 29.7 into 10 power 29.7 into 10 power minus 17 joules, sir.
Okay. Convert it to.
Sir, if I
It will be
convert
much.
it to EV, then 1.8 into 10 power 5 it came, sir.
That is not right. That's why you cannot use PC there. I said no classical particle. It behaves like a classical particle. If it behaves like a classical particle, you have to use this one.
Sir,
P
means
square by.
at what, when we should use these things? How can we know that, sir?
Normally, it will be given based on the velocity you should decide. Here it is not given, but as we know, what is the velocity of the electron in a commonly we know hydrogen atom, we can take its chance. Otherwise, it should be mentioned here. V is very, very less than C. In that case, you should not use that PC.
Means majorly we have to use this formula or that formula, sir?
Okay, I'll solve this. Whenever you see this symbol in the question, use this formula. It is not given here, but if I give question, I will give this. I'll include this. Okay. Okay.
Sir,
If you
V
do
less
not
than
see
C
this,
means which
you'll have to.
formula,
If
sir?
you do not see, or if you see V is approximately equal to C. V is very, very less than C means this one, classical formula. Okay.
Which P
Very,
square
very
by
less
2.
than C. P square by 2m. Otherwise,
very
you have to use P equal to, sorry, E equal to PC. Kinetic energy is equal to P into C.
Sir, but here they didn't mention, no, sir.
I will mention, I told you, if I give the question, I'll mention. Here they are not given. Here, because it is hydrogen atom, you know, you would have already dealt with this problem.
If no mention means this method only, no, PC only, no, sir.
I will give, man, surely. Okay, the question I'll surely give.
Yes, sir.
If not mentioned, PC. Wherever V very less than C, I'll give it. That particle, I'll give that condition. Okay.
Yes, sir. Means for
Sir.
less than we have to take mass, no, sir.
Problem.
Sir, can you repeat how to convert
Which
to
one?
EV, sir, from joules again?
This is very simple. 1 joule is equal to 1 joule is equal to how much? One joule is equal to how much?
So 1 by 4.18.
into
That's it. Okay.
Okay.
Wherever you have joule, divide by 1.60 into 10 to the power of minus 19, you get it in electron.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Yes, then C is K equal to P square by 2 no, sir. V is equal to 0 means K equal to P, sir. V greater than C, P, C, sir.
Come again.
Sir, you told V is less.
Your voice is breaking. Hello, I can't hear.
Sir,
Okay, let's solve this problem and then move on.
are you able to hear, sir?
You're not audible. We'll solve this and then I'll come to you. Let's solve this and then I'll come to you. Okay.
Sir, now are you
Note
able
down
to
this
hear,
question.
sir?
The average. Let's solve this question and then get back. Others are waiting, no?
Okay,
Afterwards,
sir.
we'll
Okay,
discuss.
sir.
Others can leave once we finish this question. Okay. Okay.
Okay,
The
sir.
average
Okay,
period
sir.
that elapses between the excitation of an atom and the time it radiates is 1 second. 10 to the power of minus 8 seconds. Find the inherent uncertainty in the frequency of the photon. What happens? An electron is there, electron is excited. Let's say electron is at this energy level, E1. Then some energy is given. Let's not bother how the energy is given. This this atom excites to energy E2. Okay. Here, this is unstable state. It cannot stay here for a long time. It has to come back. So within 10 to the power of minus 8 seconds, it comes down. De-excites. So when it de-excites, it emits a radiation. Right? Within 10 to the power of minus 8 seconds, it de-excites. Within 10 to the power of minus 8 seconds, it de-excites. Right? See here, they are not saying the exact time. They are saying within 10 to the power of minus 8 seconds, it de-excites. In that case, it emits a radiation of frequency nu. So this radiation of frequency nu has a uncertainty of delta nu. Has an uncertainty of delta nu. So what is this uncertainty, or how much is this uncertainty? That is what is asked. Okay. What is given is delta T is given. What is delta T? Delta T is equal to 10 to the power of minus 8 seconds. We have to find out delta. What is the relation we have with what is the conjugate pair of delta T? Conjugate pair of
Energy,
delta
sir.
T.
Energy.
Energy.
Delta E.
So we have delta E is greater than or equal to H cross by 2 into delta T. Okay. How much we get? This is greater than or equal to 5.3 into 10 to the power of minus 27 joules. What is the relation between nu and energy?
H.
Nu is equal to H by E, or sorry, E by H. Nu is equal to E by H. So delta nu is equal to delta E by H. So find out what is delta nu now. Delta nu is greater than or equal to, find out delta nu we already know. Sorry, delta E we already know. 5.3 into 10 to the power of minus 27 divided by H. Give me the answer quickly.
$34.9 into 10 power 7.
$34.9 into 10 to the power of 7. Let me check. No, check the answer again.
Sir, 8.3 into 10 power 6. Sir.
8 into 10 power 6.
Yes.
8
into 10 power 6 joules.
No, not joules. Come on. This is frequency we are talking about. What is this? Hertz. Okay. Delta nu is greater than or equal to 8 into 10 to the power of 6 hertz. Okay.
Okay, sir. Sorry, sir.
Okay, we'll stop here. Those who want to leave, you can leave. I'll stop the recording and we'll continue discussion on our last problem.